We'll see if that fixes it. Okay, we'll see if that fixed it over here on YouTube. It looks like there's now audio coming through, so that's good. Looks like some people are saying they're going to be in Music City as well. All right, so YouTube, sorry, had some technical difficulties, had to restart the stream. Now we can hear perfect. Okay, so Music City Open, as I was saying, we're going to have some Dark Horse buzzes, which is going to be sick. I'll be there. Jason will be there. Robbie C is going to be there. We're going to have some Robbie C wizards. Speaking of Robbie C, so we're gonna have that's the like he worked with Gateway to come up with his own putter blend. So we released a limited amount online, and then we're taking a bunch more down to Music City. And I think we're also gonna take some of the foundation apparel that we dropped for the grand opening here down there as well. So I know some people have been asking about those hats. I don't think I have one in here, but some people have been asking about the hats. Those will be there. We might also have some of the quarter zip stuff like that. So if you're gonna be down Music City, swing by, say what's up, and then pick up some of the cool stuff. The Foundation Care launch that I talked about last week has went great. It's been very well received, which is awesome. Um, Super excited. If you're not aware, Foundation Care is now included on all US purchases, meaning if you buy a disc, you live in the US, you buy a disc on Foundation site, you have 30 days to try it out, beat it up, whatever you want. If it's not for you, you send it back. We give you a shipping label to send it back, and boom, we can replace it for a disc that you know that you love. My webcam's having some issues, but the big thing last week was our shop opening. We're in the new space here. Um, and yeah, we had the shop grand opening on Friday. It was a very, very busy weekend. Um, Let me just pull these notes over. That webcam's tripping me out. Very busy weekend. The shop was packed on Friday, which was awesome. Um, and then it was also a busy day Saturday and Sunday, which was also awesome to see. Um, and yeah, on Friday, we had a line around the side of the building. I was nervous no one was going to show up, to be honest with you, but hey, it worked out. People showed up. It was awesome. Hopefully, if y'all were there, thank you all so much for coming out. And so yeah, the shop's now operational. It's open. New location up here. We have the location updated on UDisc and on Google, so you can find us. We're open like 12 to 6 most days, 12 to 7 Friday, 9 to 7 Saturday. So if you're ever in the area, swing by, see the new space. Another exciting thing that I don't think we've announced anywhere yet, so y'all are going to be kind of the first to hear, is some people have been asking what happened to the banter. Where'd the banter go? Is it coming back? What's going on with the banter? So the banter is now launching next Wednesday, so not tomorrow. Next Wednesday, 9 a.m. Eastern. We are changing it to the banter live. So we're gonna be doing a live stream for the banter. The reason for this change is because we feel like it's gonna be a better experience as a live show instead of a podcast, because a lot of like ideas and stuff that got us excited for the banter, um, to bring some new energy and some new life to it, would suck audio only. Like if you were just listening to some of the stuff we have in mind, it would not be good. So we're gonna try to go. We're going live with it. We're gonna test this out, see how it works. Which will let me just read off. Let me see if I can find in here some of the ideas we had. Um, okay, so one of the ideas was the dice of doom is what I called it, which basically you roll the dice that has all of our faces on it, and it decides who does whatever punishment for that week. Connor suggested a show and tell, where you bring something to show and tell. Um, Trevor suggested impossible shot, where we just try a trick shot, see how it works out. Um, Amazon Roulette, you submit a word, we combine the words and search it on Amazon. You have to buy the first thing under $10. The Shark Tank idea, um, stuff like that. All Business Brad suggested some stuff from Whose Line Is It Anyways. Silas suggested what's in the box, where we're blindfolded and have to guess on objects. So a lot of fun ideas there. But that'll be launching not tomorrow, but next weekend, the Banter Live. It'll be on the Banter YouTube channel. And yeah, it's gonna be everything you love about the banter and then push to the next level. So we're excited about that. As you've known, if you've been watching these for a few weeks, we're trying to have an increased focus on live streams anyway, so it kind of fits into that uh, idea behind it too. One other thing I wanted to bring up that I think, I like to give y'all part of this, like the first part of this is always like an update, behind the scenes look, stuff like that. And so I like to give you kind of a peek behind the old curtain. And I was doing some research for our Creator Academy, one of the like live stream we do for the Creator Academy. And when I was doing the research, because we were talking this month was about like monetization strategies and stuff like that as a creator. And so I was doing some research on our YouTube channel of like, because we've seen on YouTube a trend from all the big creators towards longer form content. We already fall into longer form content, being disc golf creators, because most of our videos are 20 to 30 minutes, somewhere in that range. And so I was doing research though of like, what's the true difference if we have a 30 some minute video versus a like 10-minute video or a 15-minute video? Like, what are the real differences? And I won't get into like the nitty gritty specific stuff, but more or less the longer video underperformed on like click-through rate, underperformed on what was the other one, click-through rate, and the average view duration, average view percentage, so the percentage of the video that gets viewed. But it pushed above with the average view duration, meaning people who watched that video watched it for longer than, like, for instance, the one video I pulled, people were watching, the average view duration was like 19 minutes. So when you compared that to a 17-minute video, even though the average view percentage was bigger on the 17-minute video, it was obviously shorter, because 19 minutes, you just can't do it, can't beat it. And because the average view duration was higher, that was causing it to get in the algorithm more, which was causing it to get pushed more. And that was a consistent theme against a bunch of them. And what it also did was, with the average view duration being higher, the monetization was actually twice, like the CPM is what it's called, or RPM, in essentially it's the revenue per 1,000 views. And the revenue per 1,000 views on the longer video was actually right at twice as much as the shorter video, which I thought was fascinating. So if you're a creator, it's just something to think about. I noticed that, and I was using that in our Creator Academy, but I thought y'all might find some interest in that as well. The other thing I wanted to kind of talk through super fast was, over the last month, it's just been kind of chaotic. And I feel like you don't realize the importance of your like normal day-to-day routine until you're out of it, which I've been out of it for the last like month. To give you a recap, basically almost a month ago exactly was the flamethrower tournament, which I didn't have a lot to do leading up to it, but it threw off my weekend routine, because then I was running that on Friday and Saturday, or Saturday and Sunday. And then all the tournament director stuff leading up to it threw off my daily routine just slightly. And then shortly following that, I think it was the week after that, we got the keys to the new space, which then led to 2 weeks of moving, basically, maybe even over a little over 2 weeks, which then rolled right into the grand opening, which happened on Friday, which before the grand opening was the Bogey Bro event. So that threw off our whole Friday. Then on Saturday, this past Saturday, we kicked off a junior series that we're sponsoring. And I was out there just they didn't really need me out there, but it was just like help in case something went wrong, to answer questions of tournament director and stuff. So that was Saturday. Again, threw off my weekend routine. And then come back to work Monday, and then I leave for Music City Thursday, and I'm gone through Monday. So like, I haven't been in my normal routine for right at a month. And like, trying to find work life balance is kind of already a challenge for me. Like, knowing, like, especially social media wise, like turning it off when you get home, and turning, normal life on, and then turning it back on when you get back to work. But then when you throw off your routine, it just kind of goes out the window. Because like, you have to, in the moving process and everything that's been going on over the last month, like the main stuff that I have to do still has to get done, but then the like extra stuff is what falls off the wayside. So like, for instance, some of the extra stuff that like is just getting pushed aside, that like is frustrating because I really want to tackle it, I just don't have time right now, is like the marketing for foundation care. We've talked about it on Grip Block, I've talked about it on here, we've pushed it some, but like, this marketing or foundation care is a great opportunity for us to lean into like some paid advertising, which we've never really done much before. We've just done all organic, but now we have something to really bring value, and drive traffic to that. And it's a consistent thing where it doesn't matter, you know, inventory comes in waves, where like if we're doing an ad on MVP and then we go through a wave where we have no MVP, well, there's no point in spending money on that ad. But like foundation care is here regardless because we always have some discs on the site. And so foundation care, like I really want to launch a full marketing effort for it, but that takes time and energy and focus. And again, there's like more important priority stuff that happens that then all of this stuff gets pushed aside. The other thing is like the marketing for new releases has went down, and so therefore you can see the website traffic go down even if revenue's up because of like the retail store and stuff. And the push for foundation care has made like everyday traffic up, but then the push we get on the weekends because we normally market all these new releases has slowed up because like those are all things where again they're just the extra stuff that's like I wish I had time for. Our filming schedule has gotten thrown off to where we're filming basically like we just filmed Thursday's video. I believe it's Thursday's video yesterday. The Bogey Bro event comes out today, and we filmed that on Friday. We like to be like a week and a half to 2 weeks ahead, and right now we're like 5 days ahead. And then because I have a short week this week, we're trying to crank out filming, which again is then making there no time for like extra stuff. And then like social posting outside of our normal main content. So like the grip lock socials, any extra creative posts, like all that goes out the window. So it's really frustrating because like a lot of good stuff's happening. There's a lot of momentum being built in certain areas, but then the extra stuff is like falling off because like that's just the importance of having a normal routine and being in it. So I'm very excited to go to Music City. I'm excited to see my friends who live in Nashville. I'm excited for all of that, but I'm also extremely excited to get back and just get back to my normal day to day life. So that's basically all the updates. Let's hop into some questions. If you got any questions relating to disc golf, to business, to running, whatever, fire them away. I've seen a bunch of comments coming in on Instagram. Just re-ask them if your question hasn't gotten hit to. Um, so let's see. Uh, will the live banter still be uploaded to Spotify? The plan's no, only because again, there's a lot of thought going into the content side of the banter that's making it more of a like visual show, which will make the audio side sacrifice. So unless it's like really heavily requested, it's just going to be the live stream. My webcam is just glitching, and I don't understand if it's like the connection or what, but it's really frustrating me. I might have to just ignore it. So no is the current plan. Shay said he DM'd me a question. No, you've been busy. I'll have to check that out. Is there a reason you didn't talk about Ganon yelling the baskets suck on hole 14? Because I mean, Ganon's putting a million miles an hour. Every basket's gonna suck. There's so many like little stories that we could pull out from every event, but you got to pick and choose. And that one didn't really feel like because I mean that would have been the whole thing. So we'd be like, oh, Ganon yelled the baskets suck. Oh, if he would have putted with some touch, it would have went in. There's a storyline. That's all we would have said in grip lock. So like, it just doesn't really feel worth talking. And Gannon's even admitted he knows his putts spit out because the baskets or because he putts too hard. Like that's just part of disc golf. If you putt with enough touch, it's not going to spit out. But then you might not make as many, so you putt hard and you deal with the spit outs. That just is what it is. I mean, even Ben Callaway's like 15-foot putt that just like trampolined off the pole back at him. He putted it like 50 miles an hour. Probably not actually 50 miles an hour, but like if he putts that softer, it's in. And that's I'm not saying like he should putt it softer, but that's just it's the give and take of like to make sure you hit it dead center. They're comfortable spinning it and throwing it that hard, which means they're going to make more putts. But then when you're making more putts because of that, you also have to live with increased spit outs. So you have to pick and choose your battles there. Is what it is. Let me see. Instagram, we had what time's the video dropping today? 5 p.m. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 5. That's our schedule. Have we ever removed a video from Foundation's channel? If so, why? In hindsight, would we maybe take it down? I don't think we've ever removed a video that I can remember. There's some like when the Tesla live hack happened. They unpublished all of our videos. We republished everything, but we didn't republish like some of the like live grip blockers from back in the day or random stuff like that that just didn't get republished. But it was just because we were just bulk publishing stuff and we just did it. There wasn't really any thought process. Other than that, I don't think there's really been one. Looking to start training for a half marathon. Tips for starting. Played collegiate soccer, so not a newbie to running. I what I would advise is get some type of heart rate monitor. A watch will work, or I have like a chest one that is more accurate than my watch, and run 80% of your runs below a like easy aerobic pace. So for me, I try to keep my runs below 155 heart rate. Typically, I try to go closer to 150 and below. Um, that's just my easy what I find to be my easy pace. You can even go some people go harder than that and when you wanna keep below, like, 130 or something. But for me, that's just kinda my pace, and then the 20% do speed work where you're pushing into tempo, you're pushing into, like, some faster paces, mile paces, stuff like that, and what that'll do is increase how because that easy run pace is what you can hold for a long time, and the faster you get at that, then the faster your tempo and everything else gets. Because on a half marathon, you'll run your average heart rate will probably be like 165, 170, somewhere in that range for the whole half marathon. And so if you could build your 150 heart rate pace up, then your 160 heart rate pace also goes up. Whereas if you're constantly doing anaerobic, where you're constantly pushing in the 170, 180, then your aerobic base doesn't build, so you can't hold it for as long. So that's the only like slightly different training I feel like is it for distance running you want to build that aerobic base. I'm no by no means an expert. I'm just regurgitating what I've seen online, but that's what's worked for me. So that would be my suggestion. But you can find a. I would try to find a plan. BPN has one. The you can use their BPN app and they'll like do a heart rate based training plan, which is pretty sick. Where was I at here? I like that the YouTube subs plaques behind the grippy and mouse ears priorities. Yeah. Well, the YouTube it speaks for itself. The thing I'm most proud of, because on this shelf, because over, sorry, Instagram, you can't see it right now, but over here is a like Shopify plaque. Over there is the grippy YouTube, and then front and center is my that's the like Mickey Mouse ears from my marathon. Um, so it's just priorities, front and center. That's the achievement that I've like currently am most proud of. That's my like one of my lifelong goals was to get that plaque. I didn't even know this Shopify achievement existed, and then the grippies, gotta have the grippy up there. It's a good time. Suggestion: whacker bag, bringing in random disc golf products and voting on it. Oh, that's cool. Kind of like cool, not cool from Dude Perfect. Jake said, "Seems like you're becoming overworked. Do you have a plan to delegate work to others to get back into your daily flow?" If this was my normal week to week, yes, that would be my next step. I actually have a meeting with one of our employees today about taking on some of the grip lock social stuff, just because that seems to be the first thing that gets pushed out off my plate, and so I want to delegate that out. If this was my normal week, then 100% I'd be looking for someone to take something. But it's not. It's not normal. This is a very like we're not going to move again for years. Tournaments, I don't really run tournaments that often. I just happen to have two within a month. The next one I'll run won't be till July. And then Music City Open's the only trip I'm making, other than well, all of us will make a trip to USDGC. So like it's just they all happened so close together is what got me spun out of my normal routine. If this was normal, then yes, absolutely, I'd be delegating stuff out. But that's just a part of being a business owner and part of like business growth. Is a lot of times your cup will get full, and you have to know when is it like a sustainable full to where okay, I have this much more I want to add to my plate, so I need to move this much off of my plate, and I can't do that right now. Whereas, like for me, I have room to add more to my plate. I just can't physically right now. But 3 weeks from now, I'll have room to add that back to my plate and be fine. Um, and because it's also the tough part is like as a business owner, you have to determine when it's time to make a hire and when it's time to just buckle down and do a little bit more work. And that line kind of is up to your personal, how much you can personally take on. So I can take on less now that I'm a father than I could, 2 years ago when I wasn't a father. Because then, like, if I work late, I work late. Who cares? I'm not like, then Liz and I, if we want to spend time together, we can just stay up later. But Luca, like, if I don't get home by 4 or 5, then I'm going to run into he's just too tired, needs to go to bedtime, and I'll just miss that time with him. So that's why I changed my schedule because first thing in the morning is when he's in, like, the best mood, and it's also nothing's happening at work yet, so I stay home an extra hour in the morning so that I can spend an hour with him while he's, like, getting up, help my wife get him breakfast, help, like, just play with him, have fun with him. Um, that way, if, like, work spills over and things get hectic, I prioritize spending time with him, but then I try to get home at 4-ish every day because then that gives me a solid 3-hour window with him at night too. That 3-hour window is what I would typically have sacrificed a few years ago. So it's just finding that balance, but right now, I'm only overworked because of the chaos of everything happening at once. Um, Everything will settle in like literally next week, and then I won't be at that level where I'm full again. So if that was normal, then yes, I would definitely delegate. What am I sipping on? This is just cold brew from my brother's coffee shop next door. It's very dangerous having them next door. Todd wants to know why Foundation doesn't sponsor a basket slash hole on the Pro Tour anymore. We did it for a few years, maybe two. But to be honest with you, it's something I think we'll consider again maybe next year, but the ROI wasn't there for us personally. It just didn't. There was a better use of those ad dollars elsewhere, and we just had to prioritize that, and trust that we're gonna get. Because I think if we weren't creating the amount of content we do, and we weren't in front of Pro Tour fans at the rate that we are, then that would be a much bigger priority to get to that audience. But with Grip Lock, with the preview show, with our weekly videos, we are in front of that audience pretty consistently for free, and so our ad dollars are better spent elsewhere. Right now, all pretty much our ad spend is our marketing team. Like we invest in the people who created the content. Now we're at a point where we're going to start spending some more on Facebook, Instagram, stuff like that. So maybe next year we will have more. Because to me, the Pro Tour is like what I like to call white noise marketing, which is just farther driving home something people are already seeing elsewhere. I think if a small business only has X amount of dollars, the Pro Tour isn't the best place to put it first. The Pro Tour is better for, as a disc golf fan, I'm already somewhat aware of this brand existing, and this is just farther reminders, so that when I want to buy a disc, I go to Foundation. But I don't think that the Pro Tour marketing is a good, like, this is all of our marketing budgets going here. So I call it white noise marketing, where we've already done directed marketing, we've already done pointed marketing, we've already hit people multiple times, and then we fill with, you know, content creators being sponsored, we fill with a pro tour, we fill with local tournaments. So then you're seeing Foundation everywhere, and it feels like everywhere you turn, you see it. We're not quite at that point yet. We're more at the pointed point still. So we got to drive that home first and then spread it to there. So we will eventually sponsor again, but right now it just doesn't make sense. MK Doodle wants to know the red putter I use. I use the Banger GT. There you go. Disc Golf with Sig said, would you like some extra help for the festivities surrounding Worlds, temporary work with the possibility of full-time employment? I'll be in town a couple weeks and bring you my resume. I think we got it covered with our employees. Everyone's here and stoked to be, stoked for Worlds. But I'll keep it in mind. I'm not going to say 100% no, but for right now, I think we're golden. Definitely excited for Worlds. Daniel Creasy said, what's the future for the retail store? For the Lynchburg one, it's not really like super big plans. I mean, continue to be increasingly involved in the local scene, continue to try to provide just a great customer experience for people coming in. Um, and we have a few different ideas to increase that, but that's kind of that. And then hopefully in the next few years, open 1 to 2 more locations. We have a few markets we're eyeing that we would like to expand into, but that's for a different time. Tips for running: be consistent. Great point there from Brady Whitlock. That is the number one key. Is you got to get out there every day or multiple times a week. If you just run once a week, it's not really going to do much for you. How are earnings in a tournament split when people tie? So if it's last cash, then whatever last cash was is just divided by however many people tied. But typically, if like someone ties for second and third, the second and third payouts are added together and then divided by two. Or if someone ties for second, third, fourth, second, third, fourth added together, divided by three. Like if that makes sense. So if it's a three-way tie for second, you take second place, third place, fourth places, add them together, divide it by three. And that's how that's decided. The Ninja Kid said, "What do you think separates you from other disc golf companies? Seems like the market is saturated with disc golf companies, but they can't break out quite like you guys have." Um, so when we started in 2019, the whole reason we did anything on social media was that was the hole in the market. Um, a lot of retailers existed. They weren't using social media. A lot of them have picked it up now. But they were using it just to kind of post like, here's a disc, that we just hit the site. That's it. And so that was the hole we saw, and that was the hole we attacked, and it ended up turning into its own business, which is sick. But that wasn't the original goal. Um, and so I think that is what separates us to a certain extent was our social media. Nowadays, on the back end, I think the community we've built is unique. I think foundation care really separates us out. Um, and then just some of our, merch offerings, the way we built our website. What what people fail to not fail to realize, but the people ask a lot about it took us a long time to even have pictures of every disc because when we were building our site, we were building a site for how people like us wanted to shop. So when I went to a disc golf site, I was building the site that I wish existed, um, which was got you the necessary information as quickly as possible and was just a streamless or a streamlined experience. There wasn't this overwhelming amount of information. There are people that want that overwhelming amount of information. They want to know the dome level. They want to know the exact weight. They want to know all of this stuff. Our site's not for you, and that's fine. And that's not what I ever cared about when I was shopping. And when we were building foundation, I just wanted a site that was fit that bill, which was a lot more just like go to the site, whether I know what I want. If I don't know what I want, it's easy to answer the questions of like what disc does this. And then once I find that, I just need to know the color, the plastic, the weight. That's it, and that's what I want. And so originally, that's why we didn't even do pictures of every disc. We still wouldn't do pictures of every disc if it wasn't for the swirls and stuff, because like now every disc looks different, and so that makes it tough where you do have to do pictures of every disc. But that was like something else that we did because I felt like again everyone was carrying every brand, everyone was finding ways to do exactly what was working for other people, but then you just get drowned out in the noise. And so social media nowadays, foundation care, our community that we've built, and the merch and everything that comes alongside that, um, and then the way our site operates is kind of I think what separates us or what we try to have separate us. And so far, I mean, I'm happy with it. I feel like it's been working, but we're always willing to pivot too if we see a different hole in the market we feel like we can fill. Shay said, "How excited is Trevor that gambling's officially come to disc golf?" It hasn't yet. First off, it just it seems like this company that they partnered with kind of makes sure that whenever it does come, there's like guidelines in place. Is how I kind of understood it. Um, but here's the deal, right? I think that from an objective point of view, gambling will grow the sport. Um, Now, if you agree with the way gambling grows the sport, that's up for debate. But it will get outside people interested. It will make inside people more invested, and it will bring in money because there's a reason gambling exists. The house always wins. So as long as people can set the lines right, because before when it was in, the lines kind of sucked. So like if you knew disc golf, you probably knew more than the line maker, and you could take advantage of that. So if they're able to do it better this time, then the house always wins. Um, and yeah, so I think the shtick is always that Trevor's really into gambling, but that's just not fully true. From a content creator, I'm excited for like the content that can be made as far as like over unders, what we like the odds for people to win. Like there's a lot more statistics that come with gambling to make gambling work better. And I'm excited for those statistics because I think that those are interesting talking points, whether you're into gambling or not. I think those are interesting talking points of like, wow, the line for Anthony Burrell out here, they expect him to shoot 10 under a round. Like, does that, you know what I'm saying? I think that's a interesting talking points as a content creator. Um, but yeah, overall for the sport, there's definitely downsides to gambling, a lot of them. But if you look at it just objectively, like it will create more interest, it will create more money to the sport, and it will grow the sport. Now, a lot of people are questioning the motives behind that and why. That's for the Pro Tour to decide. So try to get more caught up. Big Papa John said, "Was it an issue to find a location that the store and warehouse could be at together, or was it intentional to keep them separate? Wouldn't it be better financially in one place?" Most cases would be yes, but we have a connection for where the warehouse can be that makes it be no. That's essentially why we've grown the way we have is yeah, for normal situations, we'd be looking for a place where the warehouse and retail store could be together. Um, but in our situation, with the connection we have to the warehouse space, it's just easier to keep it separate, and it makes more sense financially to keep it separate. So that's why we do so. Let me see. Do I ever think I could someday be a TD for a disc golf pro tour event if it was nearby? I think my tournament directing days are over. I got kind of burnt out tournament directing, trying to get a tournament to the pro tour. Um, so if one ever came to town, if I was asked would I do it, if that was the option, like if it's like, hey, if you don't tournament direct, a pro tour is not coming, of course, of course I would do it because of all that it would mean for this area. Um, but I highly doubt that would be the option. So I would just, if a pro tour came to the area, just try to support however I could. I love doing like day of tournament directing, assistant tournament directing. That stuff's fun. It's just the stress and stuff leading up to it, all of the customer service stuff, trying to please everyone, which is impossible, especially when it comes to tournaments. It's just too much. And doing that for a pro tour event or possibly an AM event that goes alongside it, like again, I'd be more than happy to help however possible. And if that were to happen one day and the Pro Tour event was like, you're the only option for whatever reason, 100% I'd say yes, but that wouldn't happen. So therefore, no, I don't think I could or would want to be a tournament director for a Pro Tour event. I just think it's a thankless job and there's too much pressure on it, um, to where it doesn't interest me. It was very stressful running a big event because the Battle for Bedford the last year I ran it was like over 400 players. We were on like 4 or 5 courses, and it was a lot. And I'm just not I ain't about doing that again. Forge Sports Media said personal favorite up and coming player. I don't know. I don't even know how what do you define as up and coming would be a secondary question. I think because of like Ganon and AB. They've already arrived, but are they still up and coming? A tough one. I'll go Cole or Dolan. I like Cole. How about that? What are those sneakers on my shelf? Oh, these I feel like so many questions about the shelf. Showed live on Instagram. Can't really turn it much. There you go. Those were hand painted for me. Let me actually just grab them. So I went to Ledstone, I think it was, and someone had hand painted custom foundation sneakers and wanted Brody and I to sign them. So we did, and then I asked them if they could make me some. And so I bought black Air Force Ones, and then they hand painted them with the foundation logo and like the gold trim, and they added the foundation disc off down here, and then the foundation logo here. I thought they were sick. So I never wore them because I mean they're kind of too cool to wear. So they just chill on my shelf. And the picture behind it is an autographed JJ Redick picture, my favorite basketball player of all time. Got to meet him at his hometown in Roanoke, about an hour away, and got him to sign that picture. It used to hang on my shelf at home, and now it hangs here. Will there be more Connor Horse discs? Maybe. We don't have a plan currently, but like I said, like that's the type of stuff where I want to be able to have more time to focus on those like one-off specialty discs. You know, more merch, more custom stamp stuff. But like currently, too much on the plate. In a week or two, I can get back in my routine, get back in my rhythm, and hopefully more stuff like that will come. So, any tips for somebody coming out to watch Worlds? I don't. So I'm guessing you're asking more so about like specifically this area. I would go. First off, go ahead and book your hotel, Airbnb, whatever, because I think it's around Liberty's move-in time, which means those things are going to book up fast if they haven't already. And then beyond that, I mean, just have a good time. Ivy Hill is going to be an awesome spectator experience. New London will be a little tough, spectator wise, but bring your disc golf bag because there's so many sick courses in the area that aren't being used for Worlds that you can just go have a great time. You know, like within a 15-minute drive of both the Worlds courses, you have Timbrook, you have Falling Creek, Independence Park, Peaks View Park, Sandusky, CVCC just put in a new course, all kinds of stuff. What does my warm up routine look like for my runs? I just stretch. I try to make sure I hit my ankles, calves, hamstrings, and quads. Uh, do some leg swings. I do a mix of dynamic and static stretching. I've always been a fan of static stretching. I know it's not better. I know the dynamic's better, but like that's just what I've always done before basketball, before running, before everything, and like it works for me. So I just kind of stick to that and then add a little bit of dynamic at the end right before my run. If I'm doing a speed work, I'll do that and then I always do a warm up mile or warm up 5 minutes where I just like slowly increase my pace. So I don't just go out the gates and sprint. But yeah. Christian said, "Do you think the foundation will work with local colleges with logo stamps like Flight Factory's doing at Prodigy? Prodigy is just offering college stamps in general. So we have some ordered. But yeah, Prodigy, that's not something special. Prodigy's just doing that for all colleges. They have them licensed. So we're gonna get all the big colleges, and then we'll definitely have some Liberty stamp stuff because obviously they're local here. We'll probably have Virginia Tech and UVA as well. Um, so yeah. Try to get back down to more current on Instagram. M. Kent said, "What's my favorite hole at New London?" My favorite to play is probably hole. Man, it's tough. I like hole 5. I really like the shots on 5. I think that's probably my favorite to play. My favorite hole design-wise is probably hole 6. It's just so demanding. Every shot, it makes you think. You have to really play golf on hole 6. I love that. Um, so yeah. All right, we'll answer a few more questions, and we're gonna wrap it up here. Um, are we involved in the local disc golf club or league? So we sponsor a few different local ones. One just started back up, which was like our handicap league. We used to run it. We don't run it anymore. We just sponsor what someone else is running. Um, again, like I loved playing in weeklies. I used to play there's a Thursday weekly here. I used to play that all the time. I used to do random draw dubs all the time. I loved being involved in the club and I wish I had time to still, but like the tough part is that's all happening in the afternoons and weekends, and that's my family time. And as much as I enjoy playing disc golf, I get to play it during the week for my job. I get to play and film videos. Um, and I don't love it enough to give up time with my wife and son to go to weeklies. Um, so I'm not involved. That's why we don't run them anymore because I'm the person that ran them. I'm the person that would like go and play them too, and so that's why Foundation's not like we don't have a presence there because all of our employees, pretty much all of our employees, all even like the college kids have families, and so they have the exact same reasoning as me of like it's tough when you're playing disc golf throughout the week and you get to have that outlet still, just a part of your job, to then sacrifice family time to go do it again. It's just not, yeah. So we're not involved there, but we like to sponsor what other people are doing because I think having local leagues and stuff like we have so many leagues now. When I first started playing, it was literally the Thursday night weekly, and then there was like a club monthly, I think, and then random draw dubs on Sunday. But then random draw dubs, I stopped going because they moved it to like right at 12, and I couldn't get out of church and make it there. Um, so it's just a Thursday weekly. But now, I mean, you can pick like there's stuff going on pretty much every day of the week, which is awesome. And so we like to support what's going on as much as we can, but it's hard to physically support because of the time all of it happens. So, all right, we'll take one more from Instagram, one more from YouTube, and that'll be it. Okay, the only other one I think on Instagram I haven't answered is this one from Isaac. My highest rated round. Um, I think it either happened I had 2 rounds that are close to each other that happened, I think, the same year within the calendar year of each other. One was at College Nationals my sophomore year, and then one was at Walnut Creek in Charlottesville during the tournament. My might have been the summer after my sophomore year, but one of the 2, I don't remember which one it was 1048, and that was my highest ever rating. I, as a player, never got above 989 rated, so I was never at that level. Um, at college nationals, I just got really hot one day, and it just everything clicked. That tournament, I averaged 1030, 1028, somewhere in that range. I don't remember exactly, and came in second to Matt Hammerson. So I was frustrated about that. I was at a B tier because I remember I don't know if I tweeted or put on Instagram. I was like, I mean, what am I supposed to do if I average 1030 at a B tier and lose? Because I thought that was hysterical that I came in second at that. But yeah, um, those are my highest rated rounds. You watch the channel, you know I'm not capable of that anymore. I think if I played out of my mind right now, my absolute best I'm physically capable of right now is probably 10-15, maybe 10-20, and that's like everything clicks. Average round for me right now is probably like 960. Would be like what I would say, okay, that felt normal if I was just going out trying to be competitive. So I have fallen down a lot. But hey, that's what happens. All right. Final question here. Richard, what is going on? Brody and Trevor texting. Richard De La Cruz said, I love that in some of your videos you shared that you read the Bible in your quiet time. Would you be willing to make a video sharing the gospel or have a discussion about Christianity? Um, Would I be willing to? Yeah. I don't think I would ever make a video that's like just that. Because like hopefully you can just see it in the way I carry myself. And like if I make a vlog about my day, it's obviously a part of my day. I try my goal. I'm not perfect on this, but I wake up at 5:30 every morning because my son wakes up closer to 6:30 now, so it gives me an hour to get in the word and then do some like personal reading. Um, right now, I'm reading in Jeremiah in the Bible, and then I'm reading a book. I actually have another copy of it back there called "Leaders Eat Last" by Simon Sinek. Um, so that's kind of my 1-2 in the morning right now. Um, but yeah, hopefully that answers that question. So that's gonna wrap up this. Someone said slow mo of your one hand disc flip. We'll end with this. Okay, a lot of people ask about this. Okay, so I'll just give you a quick lesson, quick tutorial on the disc flip. Okay, the best way to learn it is with your thumb inside first because it's just for some reason easier. I don't even know if I can do it that way anymore. I can, but you want to like lightly toss it up to yourself, and then as it goes up, hit under it, and it'll just flip. So if you're holding it here, is how you're going to throw it. So that's why you need to eventually learn to do it this way. But you just lightly toss it up, and you just hit under. Like when it gets high here, you just hit, just move your hand under, and then it just flips around, and then you catch it, and that's it. And then to do it twice, you just have to hit it and let it just kind of go. I'm not good at that part. Simon does it like 8 times. He just kind of gets it on like the outer part of his hand, just lets it go. But hopefully, there you go. Hopefully, you can do it one time, just like that. Yeah, the thumb flip is how you start going here. Or are you saying like thumb flip on your thumb? I can't thumb flip. I can only hand flip. Hand flip just makes more sense to me. But there you go. Also, these are available in store. Might have some at Music City too. Very sick. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Appreciate you as always, and we'll talk to you again next week.